Jane is in her car. She's on her way to work. She's driving to work. This means she's driving now. At the time of speaking, the action is not finished. Please don't make so much noise. I'm trying to work. How's your new job? Are you enjoying it? I am doing something means I started doing it and I haven't finished. I'm in the middle of doing it. Sometimes the action is not happening at the time of speaking. For example, Michael is talking to a friend on the phone. He says, I'm reading a really good book at the moment. You can use the present continuous with today, this week, this year, etc. Periods around now. For examples, you're working hard today. The company I work for isn't doing so well this year. We use the present continuous when we talk about a change that has started to happen. We often use these verbs in this way: getting, becoming, changing, improving, starting, beginning, increasing, rising, falling, growing. For examples, is your English getting better? At first I didn't like my job, but I'm starting to enjoy it now. We need to leave soon. It's starting to rain. I need to eat something soon. I'm getting hungry. What's all that noise? What's happening? You can turn off the radio. I'm not listening to it. Joe is a bus driver, but now he's in bed asleep. He's not driving a bus. He's asleep, but he drives a bus. He's a bus driver. We use the present simple to talk about things in general. We use it to say something happens all the time or repeatedly, or that something is true in general. For examples, nurses look after patients in hospital. I usually go away at weekends. The earth goes round the sun. The cafe opens at 8:30 in the morning. We use do, does to make questions and negative sentences. For examples, I come from Sweden. Where do you come from? I don't go away very often. What does this word mean? Rice doesn't grow in cold climates. What do you do? I work in a shop. He's always so lazy. He doesn't do anything to help. We use the present simple to say how often we do things. For examples, I get up at 8 o'clock every morning. How often do you go to the dentist? Rose doesn't drink tea very often. John usually goes away 2 or 3 times a year. Sometimes we do things by saying something. For example, when you promise to do something, you can say I promise. When you suggest something, you can say I suggest. For example, I promise I won't be late. What do you suggest I do? I suggest that you, in the same way we say, I apologize, I insist, I agree, I refuse, etc. Johnson speaks German very well. What time do the banks close here? Vegetarians don't eat meat. Evan is not in the office today. I suggest you try calling him tomorrow. We use the continuous for things happening at or around the time of speaking. The action is not complete. We use the continuous for the temporary situations, things that continue for a short time. We use the simple of things in general, or things that happen repeatedly. We use the simple for permanent situations, things that continue for a long time. I always do something means I do it every time. For example, I always go to work by car. I'm always doing something means I do it too often or more often than normal. For example, I'm always losing my keys. Paul is never satisfied. He's always complaining. We use continuous forms I'm waiting, it's raining, etc. for actions and happenings that have started but not finished. Some verbs, for example, know and like, are normally used in this way. We don't say I am knowing, they are liking. We say I know, they like. The following verbs are not normally used in the present continuous. Like, want, need, prefer, know, realize, understand, recognize, believe, suppose, remember, mean, belong, fit, contain, consist, seem. For examples, I'm hungry. I want something to eat. Do you understand what I mean? Anna doesn't seem very happy right now. When think means believe or have an opinion, we do not use the continuous. I think Jenny's Canadian, but I'm not sure. What do you think of my idea? When think means consider, the continuous is possible. I'm thinking about what happened. I often think about it. Nick is thinking of giving up her job. We normally use the present simple not continuous with see, hear, smell, taste. For examples, the room smells, let's open a window. This soup doesn't taste very good. You can use the present simple or continuous to say how somebody looks or feels now. For example, you look well today, or you're looking well today. How do you feel now? Or how are you feeling now? But, I usually feel tired in the morning. You can say he's being, you're being, etc. to say how somebody is behaving now. For example, I can't understand why he's being so selfish. He isn't usually like that. Being selfish means behaving selfishly now. The path is icy. Don't slip. Don't worry. I'm being very careful. Compare. He never thinks about other people. He's very selfish. He's selfish generally. Not only now. I don't like to take risks. I'm very careful person. We use I am, are, is, being to say how a person is behaving, doing something they can control. Now, it's not usually possible in other situations. For examples, are you tired? Joe is ill. Wolfgang Amadeus Mozart was an Austrian musician and composer. He lived from 1756 to 1791. He started composing at the age of 5 and wrote more than 600 pieces of music. He was only 35 years old when he died. Lived, started, wrote, was, died are all past simple. Very often the past simple ends in ed regular verb. I work in a travel agency now. Before that I worked in a department store. They invited us to their party, but we decided not to go. Rose passed her exam because she studied very hard, but many verbs are irregular. The past does not end in ed. For example, we saw John in town a few days ago. It was cold, so I shut the window. In questions and negative sentences we use didn't plus infinitive enjoy, see, go etc. For example, I enjoyed the party a lot. Did you enjoy it? How many people did they invite to the wedding? I didn't buy anything because I didn't have any money. Did you go out? No, I didn't. Sometimes do is the main verb in the sentence. Did you do? I didn't do. For example, what did you do at the weekend? I didn't do anything. The past of be's was, were. For example, I was annoyed because they were late. Was the weather good when you were on holiday? They weren't able to come because they were so busy. I wasn't hungry, so I didn't eat anything. Did you go out last night, or were you too tired? Study this example situation. Yesterday Peter and John played tennis. They started at 10 o'clock and finished at 11:30. So, at 10:30, they were playing tennis. They were playing tennis means they were in the middle of playing. They had not finished. I was doing something means I was in the middle of doing it at a certain time. The action or situation started before this time, but not finished. For example, what were you doing at 10 o'clock last night? I waved to Rose, but she wasn't looking. Compare I was doing past continuous, and I did past simple. For example, I was doing in the middle of an action. For example, we were walking home when I met Dan. Kate was watching TV when we arrived. I did complete action. We walked home after the party last night. Kate watched TV a lot when she was ill last month. You can say that something happened past simple in the middle of something else past continuous. For example, John phoned while we were having dinner. It was raining when I got up. I hurt my back while I was working in the garden. I saw you in the park yesterday. You were sitting on the grass and reading a book. But we use the past simple to say that one thing happened after another. For example, I was walking along the road when I saw Dan, so I stopped, and we talked for a while. Compare, when Rose arrived, we were having dinner. We had already started before she arrived. When Rose arrived, we had dinner. Rose arrived, and then we had dinner. Some verbs, for example, know and want, are not normally used in continuous form. For example, we were good friends. We knew each other well. I was enjoying the party, but Peter wanted to go home. Tom can't find his key. He has lost his key, he lost it, and he doesn't have it now. The present perfect simple it's have has plus past participle. The past participle often ends in ed, finished, decide, etc. But many verbs are irregular, lost, done, written, etc. When we say something has happened, this is usually new information. The road is closed. For example, there's been an accident. Police have arrested 2 men in connection with the robbery. When we use the present perfect, there is a connection with now. The action in the past has a result now. For example, Tom has lost his key. He told me his name, but I've forgotten it. Sally is still here. She hasn't gone out. I can't find my bag. Have you seen it? Compare gone to and been to. James is on holiday. He has gone to Spain. He is there now or on his way there. Karen is back home now. She has been to Spain. She has now come back. You can use the present perfect with just, already and yet. Just means a short time ago. Are you hungry? For example, no, I've just had lunch. Hello, have you just arrived? Already means sooner than expected. For example, don't you forget to pay the bill. I've already paid it. What time is Peter leaving? He's already left. Yet means until now. We use yet to show that we are expecting something to happen. We use yet in questions and negative sentences. For example, has it stopped raining yet? I've written the email, but I haven't sent it yet. You can also use the past simple did, went, had, etc. So you can say, Ben isn't here. He's gone out. Or he went out. Are you hungry? No, I've just had lunch. Or no, I just had lunch. Study example conversation. Peter, have you travelled a lot? Rose, yes, I've been to lots of place. Peter, really? Have you ever been to Japan? Rose, yes, I've been to Japan twice. Peter, what about India? Rose, no, I haven't been to India. When we talk about a period of time that continue from the past until now, we use the present perfect of been, have travelled, etc. Here, Peter and Rose are talking about the place Rose has visited in her life, which is a period that continues until now. In the same way we say, have you ever eaten caviar? I don't know what the film is about. I haven't seen it. Jane really loves that book. She's read it 3 times. Been to means visited. For example, I've never been to Canada. Have you been there? In the following examples too, the speakers are talking about a period that continues until now, recently, in the last few days, so far, since I arrived, etc. For example, have you heard anything from Joe recently? I've met a lot of people in the last few days. Everything is going well. There haven't been any problems so far. The weather is bad here. It's rained every day since I arrived. It's good to see you again. We haven't seen each other for a long time. In the same way we use the present perfect with today, this evening, this year, etc. when these periods are not finished at the time of speaking. For example, I've drunk 4 cups of coffee today. Have you had a holiday this year? I haven't seen Peter this morning. Have you? We say it's the first time something has happened. For example, John is having a driving lesson. We can say, it's the first time he has driven a car. Or he hasn't driven a car before. Or he has never driven a car before. In the same way we say, Jane has lost her passport again. This is the second time this has happened. Joe is phoning his girlfriend again. It's the 3rd time he's phoned her this evening. Study this example situation. Is it raining? No, but the ground is wet. It's been raining. It has been. We use the present perfect continuous for an activity that has been recently stopped or just stopped. For example, why are you out of breath? Have you been running? Joe is very tired. He's been working hard. Where have you been? I've been looking for you. Study this example situation. It began raining 2 hours ago, and it is still raining. How long has it been raining? It's been raining for 2 hours. We use the present perfect continuous in this way, especially with how long, for and since. The activity is still happening or has just stopped. For example, Joe is watching TV. He's been watching TV all day. How long have you been learning English? You can use the present perfect continuous for repeated action. For example, Sally is a very good tennis player. She's been playing since she was 8. Compare I am doing and I have been doing. I am doing present continuous. Don't disturb me now. I'm working. We need an umbrella. It's raining. Hurry up. We're waiting. I have been doing present perfect continuous. I've been working hard. Now, I am going to have a break. The ground is wet. It's been raining. We've been waiting for an hour. Compare these two situations. There is paint on Rosie's clothes. She has been painting her bedroom. Has been painting is the present perfect continuous. We are thinking of activity. It does not matter whether it has been finished or not. In this example, the activity painting the bedroom has not been finished. The bedroom was green. Now, it is yellow. She has painted her bedroom. Has painted is the present perfect simple. Here, the important thing is that something has been finished. She has painted is a completed action. We are thinking about the result of activity, the painted bedroom, not the activity itself. Compare this examples. My hands are very dirty. I've been repairing my bike. John has been eating too much recently. He should eat less. It's nice to see you again. What have you been doing since we last met? Where have you been? Have you been playing tennis? My bike is okay again now. I've repaired it. Somebody has eaten all the chocolates. The box is empty. Where's the book I gave you? What have you done with it? Have you ever played tennis? We use the continuous to say how long for something that is still happening. For example, how long have you been reading that book? Amy is writing emails. She's been writing emails all morning. They've been playing tennis since 2 o'clock. I'm learning Arabic, but I haven't been learning it very long. We use the simple to say how much, how many or how many times for completed action. For example, how many pages of that book have you read? Amy has sent lots of emails this morning. They've played tennis 3 times this week. I'm learning Arabic, but I haven't learnt very much yet. Some verbs, for example, know are not normally used in continue forms. For example, I've known about the problem for a long time. How long have you had that camera? You can use want and mean in the present perfect continuous. For example, I've been meaning to phone Anna, but I keep forgetting. Study this example situation. John and Rose are married. They got married exactly 20 years ago. So today is their 20th wedding anniversary. They have been married for 20 years. We say, they are married, present, but how long have they been married? They have been married for 20 years, present perfect. We use the present perfect to talk about something that began in the past and continues now. Compare the present and present perfect. Paul is in hospital. But he's been in hospital since Monday. We know each other very well, but we haven't known each other for a long time. Do you have a car? But how long have they had their car? She's waiting for somebody, but she hasn't been waiting very long. When we ask or say how long, the continuous is more usual. I've been learning English since January. It's been raining all morning. John has been doing the same job for 20 years. How long have you been driving? Since I was 17. Some verbs, for example, know and like are not normally used in the continuous. How long have you known Jane? I've had these shoes for ages. You can use either the continuous or simple with live and work. Rose has been living in the house for a long time. Or Rose has lived. How long have you been working here? Or how long have you worked here? But we use the simple, have lived, etc. with always. For example, I've always lived in the country. We say I haven't done something since, for present perfect simple. For example, I haven't seen Tom since Monday. Monday was the last time I saw him. Rose hasn't phoned for ages. The last time she phoned was ages ago. We use for to say how long something has been happening. We use for plus a period of time. For example, we've been waiting for 2 hours. Sally has been working here for 6 months. I haven't seen Tom for 3 days. We use for to say how long something has been happening. We use since plus the start of a period. We've been waiting since 8 o'clock. Sally has been working here since April. I haven't seen Tom since Monday. We often leave out for, but not usually in negative sentences. They've been married for 10 years. Or they've been married 10 years. They haven't had a holiday for 10 years. You can use in instead of for in negative sentences. For example, they haven't had a holiday in 10 years, for 10 years. We do not use for plus all day, all my life, etc. For example, I've lived here all my life. Compare when, past simple, and how long, present perfect. B. When did it start raining? C. It started raining an hour ago, at 1 o'clock. B. How long has it been raining? C. It's been raining for an hour, since 1 o'clock. Compare when, past simple, and how long, present perfect. B. When did Joe and Rose first meet? C. They first met a long time ago, when they were at school. B. How long have they known each other? C. They've known each other for a long time, since they were at school. We say, it's 2 years since I last saw Joe, or it's been 2 years since, I haven't seen Joe for 2 years. It's ages since we went to the cinema, or it's been ages since. We haven't been to the cinema for ages. How long is it since Mrs. Hills died? Or how long has it been since? When did she die? Study this example situation. Tom is looking for his key. He can't find it. He has lost his key. Present perfect. This means that he doesn't have his key now. 10 minutes later. Now Tom has found his key. He has it now. Has he lost his key? No, he has found it. Did he lost his key? Yes, he did. He lost his key. Past simple, but now he has found it. Present perfect. The present perfect something has happened is a present tense. It tells us about the situation now. Tom has lost his key. He doesn't have his key now. The past simple something happened tells us only about the past. If somebody says Tom lost his key, we don't know whether he has the key now or not. We know only that he lost it at some time in the past. Compare present perfect and past simple. They've gone away. They'll be back on Friday. They are away now. They went away. But I think they're back at home now. It has stopped raining now, so we don't need the umbrella. It isn't raining now. It stopped raining for a while, but now it's raining again. You can use the present perfect for new or recent happening. I've repaired the washing machine. It's working okay now. Mary has had a baby. It's a boy. That's great news. Usually, you can also use the past simple. I repaired the washing machine. It's working okay now. Use the past simple, not the present perfect, for things that are not recent or new. Mozart was a composer. He wrote more than 600 pieces of music. My mother grew up in Italy. Compare. Somebody has invented a new type of washing machine. Who invented the telephone? We use the present perfect to give a new information. But if we continue to talk about it, we normally use the past simple. B. Ow. I've burnt myself. C. How did you do that? B. I picked up a hot dish. B. Look. Somebody has spilt something on the sofa. C. Well, It wasn't me. I didn't do it. We don't use the present perfect I have done when we talk about a finished time, for example, yesterday, last year, 10 minutes ago, etc. We use a past tense, for example, it was very cold yesterday. Did you eat a lot of sweets when you were a child? Use the past to ask when, or what time. For example, when did your friends arrive? What time did you finish work? Compare, present perfect, Tom has lost his key. He can't get into the house. Is Rose here or has she left? Past simple, Tom lost his key yesterday. He couldn't get into the house. When did Rose leave? Compare, present perfect of done. We use the present perfect for a period of time that continues until now. For example, today, this week, since 2010. It hasn't rained this week. Have you seen John recently? I've been working here since 2010. I still work here now. Past simple did. We use the past simple for a finished time in the past. For example, yesterday, last week, from 2010 to 2014. It didn't rain last week. Did you see John on Sunday? I worked from 2010 to 2014. I don't work now. Study this example situation. Rose and John went to the same party last week, but they didn't see each other. John left the party at 10:30 and Rose arrived at 11 o'clock. So when Rose arrived at the party, John wasn't there, he had gone home. Sometimes we talk about something that happened in the past. For example, Rose arrived at the party. This is the starting point of the story. Then, if we want to talk about things that happened before this time, we use past perfect. For example, when Rose arrived at the party, John had already gone home. Some more examples. When we got home last night, we found that somebody had broken into the flat. Jane didn't come to the cinema with us. She'd already seen the movie. At first I thought I'd done the right thing, but I soon realized that I'd made a big mistake. The people sitting next to me on the plane were nervous. They hadn't flown before, or they'd never flown before. Compare present perfect and past perfect. Present perfect. Who is that woman? I've seen her before, but I can't remember where. We aren't hungry. We've just had lunch. The house is dirty. They haven't cleaned it 4 weeks. Past perfect. I wasn't sure who she was. I'd seen her before, but I couldn't remember where. We weren't hungry. We just had lunch. The house was dirty. They hadn't cleaned it 4 weeks. Compare past simple left, was etc. and past perfect had left, had been etc. Past simple, B. Was Tom there when you arrived? C. Yes, but he left soon afterwards. Kate wasn't at home when I phoned. She was at her mother's house, past perfect. B. Was Tom there when you arrived? C. No, he'd already left. Kate had just got home when I phoned. She'd been at her mother's house. Study this example situation. Yesterday morning I got up and looked out of the window. The sun was shining, but the ground was very wet. It has been raining. It was not raining when I looked out of the window. The sun was shining, but it had been raining before. Some more examples. My hands were dirty because I'd been repairing my bike. Tom was tired when he got home. He'd been working hard all day. I went to Madrid a few years ago and stayed with a friend of mine. She hadn't been living there very long, but she knew the city very well. You can say that something had been happening before something else happened. We'd been playing tennis about half an hour when it started to rain heavily. Compare present perfect continuous and past perfect continuous. Present perfect continuous. I hope the bus comes soon. I've been waiting for 20 minutes. Before now James is out of breath. He has been running. Past perfect continuous. At last the bus came. I'd been waiting for 20 minutes. Before the bus came. James was out of breath. He'd been running. Compare past continuous and past perfect continuous. It wasn't raining when we went out. The sun was shining, but it had been raining, so the ground was wet. Kate was lying on the sofa. She was tired, because she'd been working hard. Some verbs, for example, know are not normally used in continuous forms. For example, we were good friends. We had known each other 4 years. A few years ago Kate cut her hair really short. I was surprised because she'd always had long hair. Have and have got for possession, relationships, illnesses, appointments, etc. You can use have or have got. There is no difference in meaning. You can say, they have a new car, or they've got a new car. I have a headache, or I've got a headache. With these meanings, possession, etc., we do not use continuous forms on having, etc. For example, we're enjoying our holiday. We've got a nice room in the hotel. For the past we use had, usually without got. For example, Mary had long hair when she was a child. In questions and negative sentences, there are 3 possible forms. Do you have any questions? Have you got any questions? Have you any questions? Less usual, does she have a car? Has she got a car? Has she a car? Less usual, I don't have any questions. I haven't got any questions. I haven't any questions. Less usual, she doesn't have a car. She hasn't got a car. She hasn't a car. Less usual. In past questions and negative sentences, we use did, didn't. Did you have a car when you were living in Paris? I didn't have my phone, so I couldn't call you. Mary had long hair, didn't she? We also use have, but not have got, for things we do or experience. For example, breakfast, dinner, a cup of coffee, something to eat, etc., a bath, a shower, a swim, a break, a rest, a party, a holiday, an accident, an experience, a dream, a look at something, a chat, a discussion, a conversation with somebody, trouble, difficulty, fun, a good time, etc. A baby. Sometimes I have sandwich for my lunch. But I have some sandwiches. Would you like one? You can use continuous forms. I'm having, etc. a great time. Where is Jack? He's having a shower. In questions and negative sentences, we use do, does, did. I don't usually have a big breakfast. Where does John usually have lunch? Did you have trouble finding somewhere to stay? Study this example situation. Nicole doesn't travel much these days. She prefers to stay at home, but she used to travel a lot. She used to go away 2 or 3 times a year. She used to travel a lot means she traveled often in the past, but she doesn't do this anymore. I used to do something means I did it often in the past, but not anymore. For example, I used to play tennis a lot, but I don't play very much now. David used to spend a lot of money on clothes. These days he can't afford it. Do you go to the cinema much? Not now, but I used to. We also use used to for things that were true, but are not true anymore. This building is now a furniture shop. It used to be a cinema. I used to think Mark was unfriendly, but now I realize he's a very nice person. I've started drinking coffee recently. I never used to like it before. Rose used to have very long hair when she was a child. I used to do something is past. There is no present. You cannot say I used to do, to talk about the present. We use the present simple I do. Compare, past. He used to play. We used to live. There used to be. Present he plays. We live, there is. More examples. We used to live in a small village, but now we live in a city. There used to be 4 cinemas in the town. Now, there is only 1. The normal question form is, did you used to? Did you used to eat a lot of sweets when you were a child? The negative form is didn't used to. Used not to is also possible. I didn't used to like him. Or I used not to like him. Compare I used to do and I was doing. I used to watch TV a lot. I watched TV often in the past, but I don't do this anymore. I was watching TV when John called. I was in the middle of watching TV. Do not confuse I used to do and I am used to doing. The structures and meanings are different. I used to live alone. I lived alone in the past, but I no longer live alone. I am used to living alone. I lived alone. And it's not a problem for me, because I've lived alone for some time. Present continuous with a future meaning. This is John's diary for next week. He's playing tennis on Monday afternoon. He's going to the dentist on Tuesday morning. He's meeting Rose on Friday. In all these examples, John has already decided and arranged to do these things. I'm doing something tomorrow, etc. means I have already decided and arranged to do it. I'm not working tomorrow, so we can go out somewhere. Mark isn't playing football next Saturday. He's hurt his leg. We do not normally use will to talk about what we have arranged to do. What are you doing tonight? Tom is getting married next month. We also use the present continuous for an action, just before you start to do it. This happens especially with verbs of movement go, come, leave, etc. I'm tired. I'm going to bed now. Good night. Tina, are you ready yet? Yes, I'm coming. Present simple I do with a future meaning. We use the present simple when we talk about timetables and programs, for example, transports or cinema times. I have to go. My train leaves at 11:30. What time does the film start tonight? The meeting is at 9 o'clock tomorrow. You can use the present simple to talk about people, but their plans are fixed like a timetable. I start my new job on Monday. What time do you finish work tomorrow? But the continuous is more usual for other personal arrangements. What time are you meeting Jane tomorrow? Compare present continuous. What time are you arriving? I'm going to the cinema this evening. Present simple. What time does the train arrive? The film starts at 8:13. When we talk about appointments, lessons, exams, etc., you can use I have or I've got. I have an exam next week, or I've got an exam next week. We use I will when we've just decided to do something. When we say I'll do something, we announce our decision. I left the door open. I'll go and shut it. What would you like to drink? I'll orange juice. Please, we do not use the present simple I do, I go, etc. In these sentences, I'll phone him now. We often use I think I'll, I don't think he'll. For example, I'm a little bit hungry. I think I'll have something to eat. I don't think I'll go out tonight. In spoken English will not is usually won't. I can see you're busy, so I won't stay long. We often use I will in these situations, offering to do something. The bag looks heavy. I'll help you with it. Agreeing to do something. B. Can you give Tom this book? C. Sure. I'll give it to him when I see him this afternoon. Promising to do something. Thanks for lending me the money. I'll pay you back on Friday. I won't tell anyone what happened, I promise. We use when to say that somebody refuses to do something. I've tried to her advice, but she won't listen. The car won't start. Will you do something? Means please do it. Will you please turn the music down? It's too loud. We do not use will to talk about what has been decided or arranged before. For example, I'm going on holiday next Saturday. Compare. I'm meeting Kate tomorrow morning. Decided now. B. I'll meet you at 10:30. Okay. C. Fine. See you then. Decided now. We use shall mostly in the questions shall I, shall we, to ask if it's okay to do something or to ask for a suggestion. Shall I open the window? Do you want me to open it? I've got no money. What shall I do? What do you suggest? Shall we go? Just a minute. I'm not ready yet. Compare shall I and will you. Shall I shut the door? Do you want me to shut it? Will you shut the door? I want you to shut it. We do not use will to say what somebody has already arranged or decided to do. For example, Rose is working next week. Are you going to watch TV this evening? We use will to say what we know or believe about the future, not what somebody has already decided. For example, Rose has her driving test next week. Chris and Joe are talking about it. Joe believes that Rose will pass the driving test. He's predicting the future. When we predict a future happening or situation, we use will, won't. Some more examples. They've been away a long time. What they return, they'll find a lot of changes here. That plate is hot. If you touch it, you'll burn yourself. Anna looks completely different now. You won't recognize her. When will you get your exam results? Compare. I think James is going to the party on Friday. I think he has already decided to go. I think James will go to the party on Friday. I think he will decide to go. We often use will with, probably. I'll probably be home late tonight. I'm sure. Don't worry about the exam. I'm sure you'll pass. I think. Do you think Rose will like the present we bought her? I don't think the exam will be very difficult. I wonder what will happen. After I hope. We generally use the present. I hope Rose passes the driving test. I hope it doesn't rain tomorrow. Generally we use will to talk about the future, but sometimes we use will to talk about now. Don't phone Amy now. She will be busy. She be busy now. Normally we use shall only with I and we. You can say, I shall be late this evening, or I will be. In spoken English we normally use I wo and wit wo. Wit wo probably go to Spain. The negative of shall is shall not or shan't. I shan't be here tomorrow. Or I won't be. We do not normally use shall with the. She, it, you, they. She will be very angry. Future action. Jane is talking to Rose. Jane, let's have a party. Rose, that's a great idea. We'll invite lots of people. We use will to announce a new decision. The party is a new idea. Later that day, Rose meets Mark. Rose, Jane, and I have decided to have a party. We're going to invite lots of people. We use be going to when we have already decided to do something. Rose had already decided to invite lots of people before she spoke to Mark. Compare. Mark has been trying to contact you. Has he? Okay. I will call him. Mark has been trying to contact you. Yes, I know. I'm going to call him. Sarah is in hospital. Really? I didn't know. I will go and visit her. Sarah is in hospital. Yes, I know. I'm going to visit her this evening. Future happenings and situations predicting the future. We use both will and going to for future happenings and situations. So you can say, I think the weather will be nice later. Or I think the weather is going to be nice later. When we say something is going to happen, we believe this because of the situation now. What is happening now shows that something is going to happen in the future. For example, look at those black clouds. It's going to rain. We can see that it is going to rain. The black clouds are in the sky now. Compare. We're going to be late. The meeting starts in 5 minutes, and it takes 15 minutes to get there. It is clear now that we don't have enough time to get there. Jane will be late for the meeting. She's always late. I believe this because I know what Jane is like. Study this example situation. These people are standing in a queue to get into the cinema. Half an hour from now, the cinema will be full. Everyone will be watching the film. 3 hours from now, the cinema will be empty. The film will have finished. Everyone will have gone home. I will be doing something. Future continuous means I will be in the middle of doing it. This time next week I'll be on holiday. I'll be lying on the beach or swimming in the sea. Compare will be doing and will do. Don't phone between 7 and 8. We'll be eating. Let's wait for Lisa to arrive, and then we'll eat. Compare. At 10 o'clock yesterday, Mary was in her office. She was working. Past continuous. It's 10 o'clock now. She's in her office. She's working. Present continuous. At 10 o'clock tomorrow, she will be in her office. She will be working. Future continuous. We also use future continuous to talk about complete actions in the future. For example, the government will be making a statement about the crisis later today. Later in the program, I'll be talking to the Minister of Education. The team's star player is injured and won't be playing in the game on Saturday. When we use it in this way, will be doing is similar to will do and going to do. I will have done something. Future perfect means it will be complete before a time in the future. For example, Jane always leaves for work at 8:30 in the morning. She won't be at home at 9 o'clock. She have gone to work. We're late. The film will already have started by the time we get to the cinema. Compare, Tom and Lucy have been married for 24 years. Present perfect. Next year, they will have been married for 25 years. Future perfect. When their son was born, they had been married for 3 years. Past perfect. Study this example. Mary is on a train. She's calling a friend. I'll call you again later when I arrive. I'll call you again later when I arrive is a sentence with two parts. The main part, I'll call you again later, and when I arrive, the time is future later. But Mary says, when I arrive. We say, when I do something not will do, when something happens, not will happen. Some more examples. We'll go out when it stops raining. When you are here again, you must come and see us. The same thing happens after while, before, after, as soon as, until. What are you going to do while I'm away? Before you go, there's something I want to ask you. Wait here until I come back, or till I come back. You can also use the present perfect of done after when, after, until, as soon as. Can I have newspaper when you've finished with it? Don't say anything while John is here. Wait until he has gone. We use the present perfect to show that one thing is complete before the other. The two things do not happen together. When I phoned Rose, we can go out. First I'll phone Rose, and after that we can go out. Do not use the present perfect if two things happen together. When I phone Rose, I'll ask her about the party. It is often possible to use either the present simple or the present perfect. I'll come as soon as I finish, or I'll come as soon as I've finished. You'll feel better after you have something to eat. Or you'll feel better you've had something to eat. If and when, after if, we normally use the present if I do / if I see etc. Hurry up. If we don't hurry, we'll be late. We use if not when for things that will possibly happen or not happen. If it is raining this evening, I won't go out. Don't worry if I'm late tonight. We use when for things which are sure to happen. Compare, I might go out later. It's possible if I go out. I'll get some bread. I'm going out later. For sure, when I go out, I'll get some bread. B2 infinitive is commonly used in news reports to talk about events that are likely to happen in the near future. For example, police officers are to visit every home in the area. It is used to talk about formal or official arrangements, formal instructions, and to give orders. For example, you are not to leave the school without my permission. Children are not to be left unsupervised in the museum, passive form. We only use B2 infinitive to talk about future events that can be controlled by people. Compare, in the next few years, thousands of speed cameras are to appear on major road. Or will appear, however, when B2 infinitive refers to the future from the past. We often use it to describe what happened to someone, whether they were able to influence events or not. For example, Claire Atkins was to write more books about her experiences in Africa before her death in 1967. We often use be infinitive in if clause to say that something must happen first in the main clause before something else can happen in the if clause. If the human race is to survive, we must look at environmental problems now. Compare the use of be to infinitive and the present simple for the future in if clause. If John is to win gold at the next Olympics effect, He needs to work on his fitness scores. If John wins gold at next Olympic scores, he has said that he will retire from athletics effect. We can use be about to infinitive to say that something will not happen in the very near future. I'm about to start work on my second novel. Notice that while be to plus infinitive is mainly used in news reports and formal contexts, we often use be about to infinitive in conversation. For example, we're just about to eat. Do you want to join us? I was about to go bed when my brother turned up. Other ways of talking about the future. Some phrases are commonly used to refer to actions or events in the future, with a meaning similar to be about to plus infinitive. We can use be on the verge of, brink of, point of to say something will happen soon. For example, people are on the verge of starvation as the drought continues. Scientists are on the brink of making major advances in the fight against AIDS. I looked for my car everywhere in the car park, but couldn't find it. I was on the point of phoning the police when I remembered that I'd walked to work that morning. Be on brink of usually refers to something important, exciting, or very bad. We use be due to plus infinitive to say that something is excited to happen at a particular time. Be sure, bound to plus infinitive to say that something is likely or certain to happen. And be set to plus infinitive to say that something is ready to happen. For example, the company's chief executive is due to retire next year, but following today's announcement of further losses, she's sure to be asked to leave sooner. Will there be somewhere to get a coffee at the station? Oh, yes, there's bound to be. Her new film is set to be a great success. We use due to plus noun to give the reason for something, not to talk about the future. Due to illness, Jane is unable to perform tonight. Note that the past tense forms of be can be used with these phrases to talk about future events seen from the past. It was his 65th birthday in 1987, and he was due to retire the following year. We use some verbs with a to infinitive to talk about intention. Do you mean to work any harder in your second year at college? Other verbs like this include agree, aim, expect, hope, intend, plan, promise, propose, resolve, undertake, and want. The present continuous plus to infinitive can be used with aim, expect, hope, intend, plan, propose, and want to talk about intentions. I'm aiming to get to Bangkok by the end of June. Or I aim to get. Some people, particularly in speech and in journalism, use be looking plus to infinitive to mean planning a course of action. For example, we're looking to create 3,000 jobs in the city over the next year. When these verbs are used with past tense forms, they are concerned with future events seen from the past. For example, she was expecting to inherit her father's fortune when he died. The new management had been looking to create 20 new jobs. Some people use shall and shan't instead of will and won't in statements about the future with I and we. However, it is more common to use will and won't. For example, he was a good friend, and we shall miss him greatly. More commonly, we'll miss. I definitely intend to visit Canada, but I shan't go for the next 5 years. More commonly, I won't. In current English, we don't usually use shall, shan't with other subjects it, she, they, etc., to talk about the future, although this is found in formal rules and in older literary styles. For example, the match referee shall be the sole judge of fair play. All people of the world shall live together as brothers. The future seen from the past. There are a number of ways of talking about an activity or event that was in the future at a particular point in the past. In order to express this idea, we can use the past tense of the verb forms we would normally use to talk about the future. These forms are often used in reporting. Compare the following sentences. The future from now. I haven't got much money, so I think I will stay at home this summer. The future from the past. Rose decided that she would stay at home for summer. The future seen from the past. For example, the future from now. I'm not going to say anything about the exams today, because I don't have time. Will you be going alone, or is Jane going with you? The future from the past. I wasn't going to say anything about the exams, but the students asked me to. At the time, I thought I would be going alone, but then Tom said he wanted to come. If the future seen from the past is still in the future for the speaker, then either form is possible. For example, it was announced this morning that there was to be a statement this evening. In some cases, we don't know whether the activity or event happened or not. Compare, we were seeing each other later that day, but I had to phone and cancel. We didn't see each other. He was sure that the medical tests would show that he was healthy. We don't know whether he was healthy or not. To talk about an activity or event that was in the future at a particular point in the past, we can use were to plus infinitive for things that actually happened, and were to have plus past participle for things that were expected, but didn't happen. For example, at the time she was probably the best actor in the theatre company, but in fact some of her colleagues were to become much better known. He was to find out years later that the car he had bought was stolen. The boat, which was to have taken them to the island, failed to arrive. Note, however, that in less formal contexts we would often more naturally use be supposed to. For example, we were supposed to help, but I was ill. More natural than I was to have helped, and that were to plus infinitive can be used informally to talk about things that didn't happen. For example, we were to see each other that day, but I had to phone and cancel. Or we were to have seen. We were supposed to see.